Toback, you're connected.
Mr. Toback?
Yes, hi.
Hi. It's a pleasure to speak to you. My name is Mark Rivera, editor for GenreOnline.net. I must say that I was very impressed by your credits. I've seen some of your movies without even knowing that I had seen some of your movies. So, it was actually, that's not, once I learned a lot about your background, I have to say that you have an impressive filmography. I think Fingers was a fantastic film. And I also felt that Black and White was a great film as well. And of course, we're here to talk about the pickup artist, but I kind of feel all these things somewhat have interchangeable qualities. But with regard to the pickup artist, obviously the big clue that you've had, for 3 movies is the casting of Robert Downey Jr. And you caught him at 3 different areas of his career. You got him, I guess, either in his very late teens or his early 20s. I don't know how old he was when you made this movie, but I would imagine he might have been in his 30s. And now, he might be in his 40s. We can't, so tell me, what made you decide to cast Mr. Downey in Two Girls and a Guy? And did he actually audition, or did he have to read for the part, or did you just sort of send him the script and that sort of thing?
I wrote it for him, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I really I wrote it for him, and it was pretty much designed to feature his strengths,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that my sense was that it always is that there's an erasure of the line between role player and role, and that's what I'm always going for. And I got that here, where you actually feel that you are sort of looking into the core of who he is, and not just an actor acting a role.
Mm-hmm.
He had just come out of, I can't remember whether it was prison or rehab, but whichever it was very clear that this was a good time in terms of the rawness of who he was and what he was going through. It was a very good time to get him, and to expose himself with no, I say that
no hang-ups,
without other implications, right?
Okay. I have to say that you got the always lovely Heather Graham in the movie, and I think you got her at a great time because she really blew up from her appearance in Boogie Nights. Blew her up in terms of, at least for a time, of being, a sex object and people just noticing her more, even though she had been on television going all the way back to Twin Peaks. At this point, did you know Heather Graham ahead of time, or had you worked with her before? Or
no, Downey and I actually met about 30 actresses over one weekend in my room at the Shangri-La Hotel in Santa Monica. And the idea was that I wasn't going to force him to use anyone he didn't want to use. And we both agreed on 3 people: Natasha Wagner, who really read the best, and Heather Graham, and Kate Hudson, who was terrific. But Kate Hudson was 15 or 16 at the time, and her mother was not thrilled with the idea of doing the sexual stuff in the movie. So we had a problem getting her legally, and that settled it for us.
Okay. Well, the NC-17 version of the film, and actually even I'd like to ask you, the DVD's been up for a while, but now we have this brand new NC-17 version and original R-rated version of the feature film out on Blu-ray. Did you supervise the transfer yourself with Fox?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I thought it was a really great job. They were terrific, very careful, and I thought they did a really good job.
Would you say that because I didn't see them, I've seen the movie on television. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw this is again like one of your movies that I recall seeing. I know the name of the movie, but
Right.
And that sort of thing. What I was wondering is, would you say that for people who go out or rent or buy this Blu-ray disc, that this might even look and sound better than the movie theater experience, perhaps?
No question about it. I hate to say it because of my lifelong addiction to film as a medium, but I have to say Blu-ray is a sensational technology. It's going to wipe DVD out, obviously. I mean, there aren't going to be DVDs in a couple of years. It's just too, it's like high def TV as opposed to regular. Or DVDs as opposed to VHS.
Of course.
You just can't go back, once you've seen how vastly superior a technology is. That's it, You're gonna go with that.
With regard to seems to be a running theme in your films, which and I just want to say, if there's anything that I ask you that for any reason you don't feel comfortable answering, just say skip, and
I have no problem doing that.
Okay,
but rarely.
Okay, no, I don't want to. I'm just saying that I wouldn't say, well, he didn't want to answer that. In other words, I would just pretend I didn't ask the question. So I don't want you to be put on the spot or anything like that.
Okay, very nice.
You're welcome. I read in some of your particularly with the Downey connection, it's interesting because your most recent film was the documentary on Tyson, and I caught Black and White on, I think, Showtime 2 a couple of months ago, and I was wondering, did you write the dialogue for him with where he's just talking about jail? Actually, I was thinking more of Tyson's dialogue in the scene, because the movie seemed very stream of conscious in some ways. It kind of was, from what I saw of the of Black and White, that it was more free flowing, for lack of a better expression. I mean, whereas this film, you could have made it into a stage play, the same way you could make The Breakfast Club into a stage play. You could make Two Girls and a Guy into a stage play, because it really takes place all in one room, with a few modifications. It's theater.
Well, this was what's the right way to put it? This was pretty tightly scripted.
Which, Black and White, or this one?
Two Girls and a Guy.
Yes, of course.
Except for the hot tub scene. The movie was done completely as written. The hot tub scene, it was all improvised. It went to the other extreme. It was Black and White. Half of it was completely invented.
Okay.
Half of it.
Because, Tyson's scene, for example, just sounded like off the cuff, like he's talking about real life experience, and it wasn't just a writer.
It was. Every word of Tyson's was invented. And also Downey's scene with Tyson, also Brooke Shields' scene with Tyson.
Sure. So do you think that was all invented, but the other parts were, so to speak, the actors?
About half the movie was written, but nothing that Downey or Tyson did. That was all invented.
That was invented. You mean invented as in they came up with it, or that you were actually wrote it for them?
Invented. I would give them an intention.
Okay, I got you.
They would. That's what I did with the hot tub scene and Two Girls and a Guy. I gave them an intention,
and then you let them run with it.
They came up with that based on the intention.
How do you find I guess forgive me for mentioning this because I don't want to say anything bad, but I know that according to what I've read, you publicly you've come out with having a gambling addiction, and I think that a lot of movies deal with forms of gambling. Whether it be a guy gambling with two different hot girls that he's dating, or white people and black people, kind of white people, for lack of a better expression, white people trying to pretend they're black. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I also know that you're a fan of the African American culture. So my question is you have. Is Downey for you when you're working with him for these three films sort of like a surrogate you in a way, like kind of a...
I would say so. At least he used to be. I mean, he's another person now. He's doing a totally different kind of movie and leading a totally different kind of life. But certainly at that point, absolutely, and he has spoken that way as well. It's and I think obviously people change, and for me, that Downey was the ideal person to write for.
Yes.
I mean, he's doing movies in a far more formulaic way right now, and making a lot of money doing it. But,
of course.
But this was, his greatest skill, I think, by far, comes from working in this improvisational and inventive way. I don't know of any actor who's better suited to it, or for that matter, not many actors who are less well suited to being forced into straitjacket.
I got you.
He's a naturally inventive personality.
With regard to...
I'm sorry to interrupt. We've actually hit 15 minutes, if we can do the last question.
Okay. Well, I had a lot more questions to ask you, and I apologize for not getting to them all, Mr. Toback. If you don't mind my generally asking, you're an excellent screenwriter and also a filmmaker. I would just like to know, it's a two-part question. Do you have a preference for one over the other, and do you have any advice for the millions of aspiring writer-directors out there that are in NYU or that are in City University or they're working in the real world and trying to do their thing?
I think of writing and directing as one process. I don't separate them.
Okay.
I think that they feel to me as if they should be one process, and I wouldn't know how to direct what somebody else wrote, and I sort of feel weird not directing what I write. Okay. So, although it's happened very profitably twice, the movie's worked out really well. Nonetheless, it's something that by nature I'm really looking to write and direct. And I would say the way to do it is envision it in your head, know what you want to do, and be ready to stick to it no matter what anybody else says.
Are you going to be directing the DeLorean, Untitled DeLorean?
No, that's for Brett Ratner.
Okay.
And having said what I just said, right.
No, I don't mean it that way. It's just, you look up at IMDb, unless you're paying for it, it's just going to say Untitled. You want to learn more, pay us $20 or whatever it is they want. You know what I mean? I just wanted to ask you because it's the most recent, well, as far as I know, it's the most recent thing you've been working on,
Right, it is. It's not easy.
Well, I tell you, Mr. Toback, I wish I had more time to speak with you. I apologize for not getting I wanted to talk to you about Bugsy and the pickup artist more, and as well as Tyson and Fingers. All I can say is thank you very much for your time, and thank you so much for the wonderful work you've given us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, and well, I'm sure the publicist will let you know when the interview goes live. And I really appreciate your time, and thank you again for the wonderful work. I wish now I'll always know these films associated with you, but I just want to let you know that I love all your movies that I've seen.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Really terrific.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.